Chris Algieri, master boxer, master nutritionist. Man, catch me up on everything. Got the shaved face right now, cut the hair. I saw you were doing like a movie, or was it a commercial?
I was a commercial.
All right.
Yeah.
Has a lot of stuff like that been going on?
Yeah, I actually just came from a modeling shoot just now, so that's why my face is all clean. But yeah, it's been.
How is it being on that side of things? Because I know, like, you know, you are like one of those guys who has the good, like the chiseled features, high cheekbones. Is that something you always had in the back of your mind?
No, it's something I actually always did during my career anyway. So,
okay.
But it's you know, in that industry, when it rains, it pours. You get one job and they just start falling out of the sky. So.
Is it weird dealing with like the politics in there at all, or those kind of people? Because you come from such a manly sport and everything, and then you go to like their world a little bit. Is it a little bit different?
You know, I can't really say a whole lot about it, like that side of it, because I don't know it. So like, I can't come in there and be like,
I mean, like getting makeup put on.
No,
like
I know exactly. I can't come in there and be like, oh, you know, be a certain way. I just, you know, I'm a newbie. I just come in there and do what I got to do. You point you in the direction I got to work. That's it.
All right, man. So let me talk to you about some boxing stuff. Danny's here.
Yep.
You probably saw the altercation with him and Charlo. It went viral. People started talking about it. They did some interviews in the Mayweather gym. Like, pretty much the consensus is that Danny won that back and forth, and that he made Charlo look like he was, you know, whatever, a punk or something like that.
Yeah.
How would you break down that fight, and what did you see just from the body language between the two of them, and even just getting a chance to size them up, seeing them that close?
Yeah, you know, Danny's a big middleweight. Everybody knows that. The Charlos are, you know, they're big guys too. But yeah, no, that altercation, you could see that Danny's got something over him.
Okay.
You know, so I think that was easy to see. But in terms of what happens in the ring, it's a whole different thing. You know, but I think just Danny's a consummate middleweight, man. He's been there for a long time. Honestly, I think he owns that division. You know, especially now with Canelo being out, Triple G's not going to be around for that much longer. It's middleweight's Danny.
Speaking of which, what do you think of that? Do you think the public is being too easy on Canelo, or like I feel like it hasn't gone like he hasn't gotten that Margarito treatment, that like, oh my God, you're a cheater treatment? Is that like to be expected, or is there like another perspective to it?
Honestly, I think it's just because it's Canelo.
Okay.
I feel the same way. Like I'm really against cheaters. I'm really against Peds. I think there's no room for it in this sport whatsoever.
So do you look at him in that light now, in like a Margarito kind of light? Like this guy should be gone, and like.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't. And honestly, I now that I'm thinking about it and you ask it, I think it's just because it's Canelo. Like I like Canelo. I always did. Okay. But honestly, like I look at his stuff differently now. You know, I see an Instagram post of him on the pads, and I'm like, yeah, but.
So there's an asterisk there forever.
It's a shame because our sport's like that, and I'm not saying he did or he didn't or this or that, or you know, anybody can make a mistake and get popped, and there are a lot of people who are out there blatantly cheating. But that's one thing that us as fighters have to be very, very cognizant about, and always be protective of ourselves, because even a little bit of doubt puts that asterisk against your name. So
Triple G's been trying to find an opponent. People are kind of saying that he's looking at a bunch of like lower level guys, and even those guys are dropping out. Like Spike O'Sullivan's not gonna take it. Then they tried to get like the Mexican kid who was at 154, and like a whole bunch of other guys are asking for it. Demetrius Andrade wants it, like Derevchenko, like a whole bunch of guys want it, but he doesn't seem to be interested. Does he have to take a big fight because he was preparing for Canelo, or is that just a whole different? Is he allowed to get an easy one?
He doesn't have to. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think. From a fighter's perspective, you know, our fights are set so far in advance, and we train for very specific styles. At that level, you train for a man. You're not training for a fight. You train for a very specific man. So at that high level, I understand why they might not be taking, you know, that kind of fight, because the preparation isn't there. Personally, I think that he should nix the date and push it back and look for another big fight.
Is it like kind of like a contradiction though? Because a lot of guys always say, oh, you know, like I never watched film. I train the same for every fight, or is that something fighters just say here and there? Like, you know,
I don't know. I don't think it's something fighters just say. But I think that there's some validity to that, but also there's validity to us being professionals and be champions and preparing for a specific moment. With a boxer, you're taking 2 months, 3 months, and you're preparing for literally 1 hour of work.
Is a lot of it the visualization that you are imagining that person, their height, their everything, and then like it all changes?
You got to see it 1,000 times in your head before you step in the ring. So that's hard to do when you have to rush it. And with that level, like there's so much on the line.
Deontay Wilder spoke on that a couple times in like his press conferences. He says that he meditates like a lot, and he visualizes everything before it. I feel like that's something that a lot of boxers don't really touch on. How much a part of that do you think it is with like all boxers, like the mind part, like visualizing?
I think the mind part is a huge part, whether they realize it or not, or whether they have actual protocols that develops that part of their brain or their training. Whether they know it or not, that's a huge part of the sport. Some guys touch on it and talk about it. I always used to talk about visualization and what I've seen it going into the ring. I know Keith Thurman's talked about his mindset going into fights. You said Deontay Wilder. I'm sure if you really delve deep into some of the guys, some of the best in the world, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Andre Wards, that there would be some aspect of mental, psychological training.
Wilder, he's had 2 like phenomenal back-to-back wins. Joshua, not so much. 2 stinkers back-to-back. I feel like 2 fights ago for both of them, Joshua was the clear favorite. A lot of people just had him as, Deontay, whatever. How do you look at that fight now? Has anything changed in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Joshua. I think he's great for the sport. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's he's the kind of guy, like, if you were going to make a heavyweight champion in a video game, it'd be Anthony Joshua, and that's cool. But a couple fights ago, like you said, I thought Joshua had the fight. Now I don't have that same feeling. Wilder can knock out a dinosaur. Like that guy, if he hits you, he's putting you away. So that's a very real thing to think about. So I think I don't know. I'm definitely split. I'm split on that fight.
Let me get your opinion on Adrian Broner and Jesse Vargas. How do you break down that fight? And it's at 144. Is that an advantage to anybody?
I think the 44 probably helps Broner more than Jesse. Broner's not a big guy. It's kind of a weird fight, honestly. It's basically going to be if Broner can shut him down and keep him at a distance, he'll win the fight. Okay. If Jesse can maul him and stay on him and stay busy, he'll win the fight.
Does Broner get credit for what we were just talking about a guy having an opponent, that opponent dropping out and then taking another A-class opponent?
Yeah, I think Broner gets credit for that in this particular sense. I also think he gets it for all the fights that he's had. He fights, the last couple fights especially, he comes up a loss and comes on to another big fight. Like that's what I used to do. Like I respect that.
Well, when can we expect anything Chris Algieri related? Is there anything in the works? I know I always ask you, but the fans want to hear. They want to see it. Is there anything at all?
There's something.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, man. Well, always love talking boxing with you. Let everybody know where they can follow you and what's going on, website, whatever.
ChrisAlgieri.com. All my social media is on there, and IG is usually where you can find me. Good stuff always.